Welcome back to Prof. Dan US Greencard. If you are a returning viewer, welcome back to the community. New viewers, hit that subscribe button because today we are diving into the October 2025 Visa Bulletin that was just released. And let me tell you, this is huge news. The October Bulletin represents the start of fiscal year 2026. And as I predicted in my September analysis, we are seeing massive forward movement across multiple categories. This is exactly what happens when we transition to a new fiscal year with fresh visa numbers. So stick around because we are about to break down some incredible movement that could change your immigration timeline dramatically. Let's start with the EB1 final action date for the October 2025 Visa Bulletin. It remains current. There is no surprise there. EB1 continues to be current for most of the world. Now, here's where it gets interesting. For China mainland-born applicants, we see movement from November 15, 2022 to December 22, 2022. That's about 1 month advancement, which is modest but still at least a forward progress. For India national, however, the date remains at February 15, 2022, so there is no movement for the October 2025 Visa Bulletin for Indian nationals. This shows that India EB1 continues to face the most severe retrogression. Now let's take a look at the EB2 final action dates. Here we have major movements. This is where things are really amazing. For all chargeability areas except for China and India, we see a massive jump from September 1, 2023 to December 1, 2023. That is a full 3 months advancement in just one bulletin. And this is exactly the kind of movement we expect at the start of a new fiscal year. For India EB2, it advanced from January 1, 2013 to April 1, 2013. That is a 3-month jump. Unfortunately, for the EB3 final action date, for all chargeability areas, the date remains at April 1st, 2023. So for the October Visa Bulletin, there is no change. There is no change for the EB3 category. However, exceptional countries like China mainland-born, the EB3 moved from December 1, 2020 to March 1, 2021. That's also 3-month advancement. Also for India, EB3 jumped from May 22, 2013 to August 22, 2013. That is also 3 months forward. Now let's look at the date for filing chart, and this is where the real excitement is. To start with the EB1 date for filing, I see an unprecedented movement. For all areas except China and India, it remains current. For China, to be specific, the EB1 filing date jumped from January 1, 2023 to May 15, 2023. That is 4.5 months of advancement. And this is really huge for Chinese EB1 applicants who have been waiting. The most amazing one is India EB1 filing date, which moved from April 15, 2022 to April 15, 2023. That is a full year of advancement, again, in a single bulletin. At this point, I think if you're an Indian EB1 applicant with a priority date in that range, this could really be a life-changing news. Now, let's take a look at the EB2 date for filing. This is incredible progress. The movements here are really absolutely stunning. For all areas except China and India, the filing date jumped from November 15, 2023 to July 15, 2024. That is 8 months of forward movement. China EB2 filing moved from January 1, 2021 to December 1, 2021. 11 months of advancement. I'm sure this brings Chinese EB2 applicants much closer to being able to file their, I-485 applications. India EB2 filing advanced from February 1, 2013 to December 1, 2013. Again, 10 months forward. This is the kind of movement that, EB2 applicants from India have been kind of desperately waiting for. Many people may wonder why this movement happened. As I predicted in my September analysis, this massive movement is directly tied to the start of fiscal year 2026. October marks the beginning of a new fiscal year when fresh visa numbers become available. The State Department clearly had significant visa numbers availability, which is why we probably are seeing these unprecedented jumps across the board, EB1, EB2, EB3. And this is particularly significant because it affects not just one category, but virtually every employment-based category is seeing substantial forward movement. And this we can say, it also suggests that demand may be lower than expected, or perhaps that the State Department is being more aggressive in utilizing the available visa numbers. Now, here is something crucial I really want you all to know. As of this recording, USCIS has not yet released their October Adjustment of Status filing guidance. This is the guidance that tells us which chart to use when filing your I-485 applications. Are you to use the final action date chart or the dates for filing? But here is some very encouraging historical context. In the October visa bulletins for 2022, 2023, and 2024, 3 years back, USCIS historically asks beneficiaries to use the date for filing charts for both the family-based and the employment-based categories. So, this 3-year trend makes it very likely, though not guaranteed, that the date for filing charts will be used again for October 2025. However, you must be on alert to identify which whenever USCIS releases it. And let me explain why this really matters and what this could really mean. If USCIS follows their historical October pattern and says, dear beneficiaries, use the date for filing charts, then you can file your I-485 based on those incredible advanced filing dates we just analyzed. Given the massive movement in filing dates, remember, we saw a full year advancement for India EB1, 8 months for EB2 row, and over a year for India EB3. This would absolutely incredible news for thousands of applicants. If, however, USCIS break from this pattern and say, use the final action date chart, then you can only file your I-485 if your priority date, that is the date you have on your notice of action that was sent to you, if that date is current according to those more conservative dates we discussed first. It is important to note that USCIS makes this determination based on whether they believe there are more immigrant visas available than non-applicants. So given the substantial movement we are seeing and the historical October trend, there is strong reason to probably be optimistic. So maybe that's what we're going to expect. Let's take a quick example for the major category, which is EB2, for example. If USCIS conclude that for the October visa bulletin, you should use the final action date, simply what that means. If you look at the date that we currently have for October visa bulletin for second preference or chargeability areas, which is most countries, it is 1st December 2023. And that simply means if your priority dates, which is peculiar unique for every beneficiary. The date you have on your notice of action that you receive in the mailbox from USCIS, if that date you have there comes before 1st December 2023, then you will be able to file your adjustment of status. On the other hand, if, say, for example, you are to use the date for filing, if stated by USCIS, and you recall for second preference, the date for filing for all chargeability areas is 15 July 2024 for the October 2025 visa bulletin that is released. So that's a very big news. That simply means if your priority date is before 15 July 2024, say for example is 14 July 2024, you can file your adjustment of status. If it's still the final action date that needs to be used, please do note, however, that this date for filing gives you the opportunity, gives you an edge to apply for other things like your employment authorization card and so many other things, and start preparing your application on ground with the mind that, oh yes, it will soon be your turn. Don't forget, be proactive, never make a mistake. This is what I've always said. Try to prepare yourself because your priority date may become current at any given time. One of the ways you can prepare yourself is to ensure you do your medicals, for example, and there are videos. You can search those videos too, which talked about understanding how to go about your medicals, some secrets that you need to understand about it, and putting your paperwork in place. All of this proactiveness will put you in better position to act immediately. It's time once you see the visa bulletin. I wish you all the best. So if you found this analysis helpful, please like this video and subscribe for more updates. I have another video that will be released very soon, and of course, it's always informative. You don't want to miss it. Take care and bye-bye.